This poem is called Incompetent, Mentally Insolvent Government. I understand that a lot of you are unfamiliar with OSAP or Ontario loan systems. Ontario is a social safety net, and not even that, it just helps people go to university by giving them money that they need to go to university. Sounds right. Sounds fair, right? So when I say OSAP, if you can't relate, I want you to think of anything that your government or that people in power in your place are cutting or taking away or trying to draw back on and make it seem like it's helping you. I want you to think of that. This is in direct response to just some really funny things. The government does not care about you. What's new? Imagine a world where helping people get an education is treated like a scandal, where access is called luxury, where the cure for a starving system is to charge the starving? You do not have to imagine it. They announced it. They announce it every day. 2%. They keep saying 2%, like 2% is a lullaby. They break it into cents per day or small little increments, so your brain will swallow it without chewing. They speak in nickels and fog, so the harm looks polite, almost tiny. And then the quiet part finally loud. OSAP shifts, grants shrink, loans grow, debt grow. They call it reform. They call it sustainability. They call it alignment with other provinces. They call it responsible, right? Normalizing debt. Let me translate their language into a sentence that fits in a mouth. We are balancing the books by balancing we are balancing the books by balancing them on your back. They say low-income students will not pay more because there is a different program, an enhanced guarantee. Listen carefully to how that is framed. Covered does not mean safe. Covered does not mean stable. Covered does not mean you will not drown when the rent rises, when groceries rise, when transit rises, when your hours are cut, when your parent may lose a job, when your body does what bodies do and needs care. It means the spreadsheet does not panic. Here is who this hits, and I am not ranking anyone's pain, just trying to name it. Middle income students, the ones always treated like they have enough. Too comfortable for protection, too stretched to absorb another monthly payment. You become the perfect target because you look fine from a distance. Low income students, of course, told they are protected while their lives are still a series of cliffs with no guardrails. You are not just studying, you are surviving, protecting, freeing, breaking generational curses. One surprise bill, one illness, one eviction notice, one family emergency, and loan stops being a tool and becomes a trap. First generation students who already carry the pressure of proving that they belong in a place that was not built with them in mind. The message shifts from education is a ladder to education is a liability. Students who work part-time, who already work too much, who are told the solution is to work more, as if the day has extra hours hiding in it, as if exhaustion is a character flaw and not a policy outcome. Students in private career colleges who are told, you can have loans but not grants. Translation, you may enter, but you will enter, owing. Students in programs not stamped as in demand. Listen to that phrase. In demand sounds neutral, like weather, like it's helpful. But demand is political, demand is shaped. Demand is funded into existence, and when funding follows labor market language, education stops being about learning and starts being about serving. And yes, universities. I've been on CP24 all morning, which is probably why I sound this way, watching universities denigrate and dismiss students. Oh, we have so many expenses. Universities who stand at microphones and smile like relief has arrived. Universities who say, we spend so much on student aid. Do you know how much we pay? Do you know? As if compassion is a burden they deserve applause for carrying. As if the existence of students is an expense instead of the reason they exist. They built the system. You're going to complain now? They have been underfunded, cornered, pushed towards international tuition, then cut off at the knees when that revenue collapsed. That is real. And it's not the students cutting them off. But here is another thing that's unforgivable. When the knife that cut you is still in the room, do not turn around and bleed on the people who did not stab you. Do not call debt a solution when debt is the symptom, because debt is not sustainability. Debt is a delayed punishment with a polite interest rate. Debt is a future you sign away in exchange for the right to begin. Debt is a leash that looks like a lifeline until you try to run. They say this is a long term investment. If it is an investment, why is the public investing less and the student investing more? Sorry, public, sorry, that puts the onus on everybody. The provincial government, you guys have some major salaries, but hey, and the budget was just released. But if it is an investment, why is the return demanded from the most vulnerable pockets first? If it is an investment, why are we treating education like a private purchase instead of a public infrastructure? They will tell you the system was on the brink. They'll tell you it is historic funding. They'll tell you it is resilient now. Resilient for whom? Resilience is beautiful. Resilience is a beautiful word and convenient when it belongs to the people who chose it. Resilience is an ugly word when it is forced onto people as a lifestyle. Again, this is not new. This is just a pattern. Underfund, wait for collapse, call the collapse a surprise, announce a balanced fix that transfers risk downward, celebrate stability, ask why students are angry, ask why enrollment drops, ask why young people leave. This is how systems create inequality without admitting they are creating it. So what do you do when they try to bury harm under language? You refuse their frame. I'm jumping the gun. You do not repeat 2% or whatever they're saying is just, oh, it's just, like it is small. You say this is higher cost plus higher debt at the same time. You do not repeat sustainability like it is neutral. You say sustainability for institutions, debt for students. And it's not even sustainable for the institutions because they're both getting manhandled and having a hand stuck up their back by the same government that's hurting the students. So no one wins. You do not repeat in demand like it is destiny. You say funded demand is manufactured demand and education is being narrowed. You do not accept the story that there is only one option. You demand coexistence. You demand that people are able to come up with a solution that helps two people instead of screwing with one. Maybe it's harder than I'm saying. Maybe I'm not giving enough mercy to the people in charge, but I guess we've diminished our expectations of people who are in charge. They're supposed to be capable, aren't they? So why is that too much to ask of them? A government can fund institutions properly without turning students into collateral. A province can stabilize universities without destabilizing lives. A public can invest in education without asking 18-year-olds or younger to mortgage their futures for the right to learn. And if they pretend nothing can change, remind them, policies move when pressure moves. This is where I was going to say write your MPPs, not as a formality, but as a record and all that stuff and show up. And I don't even know what that does. So I'm going to skip that. You can write your MPPs. That makes a difference. I commend you who do so. You can show up at student unions, at faculty associations, and campus groups that are organizing. You can do that. Use the same tools they use, but speak in plain language. Do not let them hide behind administrative poetry. So dismantle it, but then what? We're going to use the master's tools to destroy the master's house? How? But yeah, you can do that. It's impactful. I'm not saying it's useless, but it kind of looks like it from the outskirt. But all things grow old, even the hand of a pervasive parasitic government. Vote like your memory matters, even though sometimes when one idiot leaves, another one's waiting to come in. Because this is how a province becomes smaller without ever saying it is becoming smaller. They will try to make you tired. They will try to make you think outrage is childish. They will try to make you think this is normal. But when we sit next to someone's wound long enough, we begin to normalize its shape. And once a wound becomes normal, people stop asking who caused it. So keep asking. And if you need a final picture, make it this. The forest is shrinking, but the trees keep voting for the axe because its handle was made of wood and they thought it was one of them. The forest was shrinking, but the trees kept voting for the axe because its handle was made of wood and they thought it was one of them. I'm not going to have subtitles on this video. As much as I appreciate accessibility, I just need this to be posted. If my words are misunderstood or not formulated properly, or you need an amendment for what I'm saying, just let me know, and I'll figure something out. But I just wanted to put this up because I I'm growing impatient, and it's not just me. Maybe I'm just here saying foolishness, but yeah, later.